Hello people of the internet, and welcome to Cross Examination's first Krosmaster analysis. Let's not waste any time and jump right in. If you've been playing Krosmaster for more than a week, you've probably heard of Bill Tell by now. Named after the story of the famous archer William Tell, he certainly lives up to the name. Going into Season 3, he has the farthest range of any Krosmaster released. Bill has two spells, Plating Arrow and Longshot. Let's start with Plating Arrow. It's a fairly tough attack. With range 3 to 8, it reaches far, reaching 9 squares on a crate. On a 12x12 board, that is quite a distance to travel. Of course, it can only hit targets starting 3 spaces away from him, so he's vulnerable to attacks from close by, and any Krosmasters that can cross the gap can deal some serious damage to him. But Bill can dish it right back out from afar. He has 6 AP, which means he can use Plating Arrow twice in a turn. Just make sure your Krosmasters don't get in the way of his shot. At 7 initiative, it's likely he'll be moving before most other Krosmasters on your team, and he needs line of sight for his spell. If it ignored line of sight, I'm pretty sure he'd be on the boss list by now. Plating Arrow is an air attack with a base damage of 1, so keep an eye out for the arrow buff and boost rewards. Of course, even 2 to 4 damage per turn is great, but when I play Bill Tell, I constantly give him critical hit to increase his damage as far as I can. Bill's other spell is Longshot, which can be used once per turn. There isn't as much to say about this spell as there is Plating Arrow. At a cost of 1 AP and any remaining MP Bill has, you can increase his mat's range by 3. Though there are a few situations where you'll need a mat's range of 11 unless Bill is on the exact opposite end of the map from his target. And if that's the case, then his 3 movement should have the same effect. Really, the only time to use this spell is if you've already moved for the turn and you need just a little extra range, as the spell doesn't define a specific amount of MP to spend, but specifically states that Bill loses all of his MP regardless of the amount Bill had when the spell checks. Bill also has the dodge ability, meaning he rolls 2 dice when attempting to dodge from an opponent's lock attempt. This is extremely helpful when trying to get out of melee range of an opponent. As I mentioned earlier, Bill is a great candidate for critical hit if you come across one for tension, or from a demonic reward. If you're playing against a Bill Tell, I think the best course of action is to stick to the trees and try to move in from behind cover. Because of Plating Arrow's range limitations and the line of sight rule, it's easy to avoid his spells from behind cover and move in. Once you're in close, it's not terribly hard to keep on him. Once in melee range, he'll be forced to move away and attack and protect himself. Bill only has a base movement of 3, which is the average for most Krosmasters, so once you're in his face, it's not terribly hard to stay there, even with his dodge ability. Being a level 3 with 6 HP at base, I'd say he's well worth the effort for 3 Gallons of Glory. When playing Bill Tell, you're going to want to get him on top of a crate to increase his range early. The pit arena is better for this, as from any of the 4 sides there will always be a crate 3 to 4 spaces in, and within 3 spaces of a starting square. The elemental is a bit worse, as you'll have to push Bill more into the fray, and the tree coverage on this map makes it difficult to find a consistently good space to attack from. Regardless, once you've found a good vantage point, you'll want to hold on to it while you can and continue attacking with Plating Arrow. If the opponent is finding him annoying, they'll likely hug cover as I mentioned before. If you notice a Krosmaster advancing on Bill, switch to a shoot and move strategy, attacking with Plating Arrow and moving away from danger. Bill only has 6 HP and the average 3 MP, so once an enemy is in his blind spot, they'll be hard to get rid of and it won't be long before he's knocked out. When looking at demonic rewards, it's best to focus on rewards that will affect his HP, MP, damage output, and critical hit. Bill is a level 3, so he can have up to 3 demonic rewards at a time. Let's begin with pets. When you're looking at pets, you're looking ideally for Lil Quacko. Lil Champion would also be a good choice as it increases all of his base stats by 1, but I wouldn't go for Lil Moon or Lil Wabbit though. They would benefit as well as the others, but the mat's range increase seems like a moot point and may be better suited to other Krosmasters on your team. When looking at Dofus, the Emerald Dofus would be best for his health, but there are other less expensive options to increase his health. Ochre Dofus I feel would be best giving Bill a 3rd attack each turn, or the Chowet Dofus to double his damage output. Ice Dofus will work in this instant too, but without a water attack it's partially wasted, and the Vulbus Dofus would be helpful for keeping him on the move, but if you're attentive, Bill's 3 movement is sufficient. When looking at sets, ideally you'll want the Mush Mush set, as it not only gives Bill 2 extra health, but gives him the critical hit that makes him a knockout machine. The Press Bitch set is nice as well, and offers counterattack, which is always a good power to have. The Champion set would also work, but not as well as the others, or the Larva set in a tense situation, though Bill can't take advantage of the heal power. The other sets aren't really worth looking at in my opinion. The Country set will offer an additional health, but the mat's range is a moot point as mentioned before. Crackler set offers a good health boost, but the lock ability is useless as Bill should never be placed in melee range intentionally. Tofu set will offer an extra MP, but Bill already has dodge. The Gobble set should be completely ignored, as Bill has no use for 1 additional AP or the armor ability as long as he's keeping his distance. The Kros set can also be set aside for reasons already stated. If you're terribly concerned about opposing Krosmasters getting in close, you can get one of the melee weapons, but it's not recommended to fill up a spot with a what-if equipment. The ideal combination in my mind is Ochre Dofus, Mush Mush set, and Little Twaco, or an extra spot for any boosts or buffs that raises damage. Of course, the odds of getting all of them in one game are fairly low, but if you can, it'll make for a very formidable Biltel. There's no real specific team that Biltel fits in. He's a very versatile character. Whenever I have 3 levels I'm not doing anything with, I usually throw in a Biltel. Bill does blend well with Captain Amachna's Tremendable or Cronus power, giving him an extra AP and MP to play around with. A really easy team to put together is 2 Biltels and a Captain Amachna. If you're building a team around Biltels, characters who produce a lot of summons work well, as they can not only obstruct the enemy's movement, but don't block line of sight on Bill's attacks. A couple of Chlorophylls and their block dolls can help a lot with controlling enemy movement and keeping them away from the trees. Otherwise, grab some characters with melee range or high movement who can keep tabs on enemy Krosmasters and keep them a good distance from Bill. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed Cross-Examination's first character analysis. From here on we'll be releasing videos on a weekly basis, so look forward to weekly facts and information on your favorite Krosmasters. In the meantime, feel free to share your own opinions and recommendations in the comments below, and if you like the show be sure to give us a like and subscribe to keep up to date on future weekly videos. Until then guys, stay Cross'em.